There is something so critical to understanding how we create a deep and robust intuition within us from which we can live, make our choices, flow with our creativity, deepen our intelligences in all their forms. And it's a missing piece of the puzzle that is so rarely talked about. There is a reason why, for most of us, intuition is hit and miss, random. Sometimes it feels like it's available, other times it feels really far away. And usually, when we need it most, when the stress is high or there's anxiety around a decision, that's when it feels the least available. There's lots of reasons for that, and we will talk about nervous system regulation and the body as the technology another time. But I want to talk about something that is just missed, and it surprises me because it makes so much sense. What we miss in the development of our intuition is this ingredient, and it is self-esteem, self-worth, what I call spiritual fierceness. It is that willingness to change our mind about ourselves and to remember, recognize at the deepest level, right down to our cellular consciousness, that we are one with the infinite, unlimited consciousness of all life. We are one with the cosmos. We are one with the God mind, however you want to refer to it. And intuition functions because we are increasing our awareness, our self-perception of being one with that infinite quantum mind. So if we are going towards increasing our intuition and we are not changing our minds about ourselves, we're not increasing our sense of self-worth. I'm one with the mind of God. I'm one with all time, all space. I am tapped into a consciousness that contains all. How can I belittle myself? How can I minimize myself? How can I be cruel and unkind to myself? And that spiritual self-esteem is what turns our intuition from being random and hit and miss to being robust, ongoing, never-ending flow state, an embodied state of being. And it is so vital that we are not making this error if we truly want to live in that state of unending communion with infinite, unlimited consciousness. And this is probably the reason why this aspect is neglected, because I can say, okay, do this practice, do this devotion, get up early, eat this way, do this kind of nervous system regulation. And you'll be like, yep, I want more intuition. I'll do what you say. But if you are unwilling to sit with the discomfort of, I have cruel thoughts about myself, I sit in my fear that I'm not good enough, not young enough, not pretty enough, not whatever the story is, I will never be able to realize the life of my dreams. If we keep in that mindset and try to go towards our intuition and increasing access to our intuition, we are breaking the first immutable law, the first cosmic law, which is the law of mentalism. All is one. All is one with the God mind, or that infinite unlimited consciousness. We kind of can't have it both ways. We can't be unwilling to look at our subconscious fear programs that are keeping us in that low self-esteem and seek more intuition. Our willingness to shift our perception, no matter how uncomfortable, to sit with the reality that we have been indoctrinated with programs that have told us we are not enough. That is where the work is. That is how we increase access to our intuition as a consistent, ongoing, breath by breath, moment by moment, embodied experience. And it is so much more challenging to be willing to shift our perception of ourselves than to imagine that there's a whole set of practices that we can do that will do the job for us, right? We are the first recipient. So no matter why you are choosing to develop your intuition, if you are not willing to see yourself as a divine piece of a benevolent universe, then there is no chance that that intuition will become the most robust, consistent, and powerful tool in our spiritual toolkit. And it's not a problem unless you are seeking that state of intuitive intelligence, as we call it, which is that state of intuition that is beyond the reasoning conscious mind. But most of those that I meet are wanting their intuition to be that ongoing, consistent communion. We don't want it to feel like it abandons us at those times where we are most seeking that sense of knowing right action. So my prompt for you today is, where are you holding on to an idea of yourself, a perception of who you are, that is limiting access to the truth that you are an aspect of the God mind? What is a belief that you can meet and sit with today that is holding you back from knowing that you are infinite and unlimited? And it doesn't matter how petty it seems. There's no order of difficulty in this. Start where you're at. Maybe you woke up today feeling bloated and now you're holding this idea that you're, carrying extra weight, and because of that, no one will take you seriously because you feel lazy and undisciplined. Great, let's start there, right? No matter how much you might have normalized those kinds of thoughts, that is still a thought of self-loathing, of low self-worth, that is doing its darndest to keep you away from the truth that you are infinite, unlimited consciousness, right? And the fear is not the enemy. The fear is the arrow. It's pointing us in the right direction. It is showing us where we have a gap between what we say we want, that infinite, unlimited, intuitive intelligence, and where we are now. So we follow our fears like beautiful breadcrumbs leading us home to truth. And we practice the work of sitting with the discomfort, not trying to talk ourselves out of it or obsessively going to the gym or, beating ourselves into submission, but rather sitting with curiosity. Okay, you're here. I will sit humbly at the feet of this fear and investigate what it is you want me to know. And this will lead us to a deeper layer of the fear, that fear that is more archetypal, that fear of rejection, that fear of abandonment, whatever it is for you. And that we can then tend to. We can look at the places where we have felt that, where our lives have confirmed that fear, and we can invite a softness and an opening. The body knows how to release trauma. It knows how to release shock. It will store it until there is safety for us to let go. So we don't have to solve the problem. We simply have to increase our awareness, our willingness to look at the things that are in our subconscious, the shadow programs that we are afraid of. And no amount of spiritual high vibes is going to do that work. Increasing access to intuition is shadow work. Shadow work is what returns us to the truth that we are one with the mind of God. And intuition is proof of that. When we know without knowing how we know. When we are understanding with a deep certainty, a deep self-awareness that this is right action, even if no one else understands or no one else approves. And that is where the spiritual self-esteem matters, because if your intuition is leading you to make choices that will perhaps make other people say, hey, you're wrong, I don't agree, don't do that, you're not making me happy, you're not pleasing me, I don't approve of you, we will collapse into that need for their approval and abandon ourselves. So that spiritual self-esteem is what allows us to have the courage to not only trust our intuition, but then to curate and lead our lives from that intuitive knowing. And that is where the glory, the joy, the success, the power comes. So spiritual self-esteem for the win. This is what increases our access to our intuition in that ongoing, sustainable way. And that is how we live in this state of unending joy. And it is entirely possible. but we have to be willing to meet the places where we are in hiding from our own gloriousness. Thanks for hanging out with me. My name is Dr. Rikki Jane Adams. I'm the principal of the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence, and we are your intuition university. And right now, we are getting ready to bring Spiritually Fierce, the program, live. And that I have not done in like 7 years. And this is a fully guided, fully live, immersive, experiential program to lead you not only into deeper states of intuition, but to do what is required to make that a permanent connection. And that is increasing spiritual self-esteem, or that spiritual fierceness. I'll share more information with you, but I am so grateful to get to talk about this. As I said, it's so rarely brought up, and it is so vital, and it must be where we are willing to start on this journey of increasing our intuitive intelligence. Have the most glorious day.